Today, I'm going to be installing this Eco-Worthy ENERGYTREK 314 amp hour battery into my RV. I want to see how long it could power all of my 12-volt loads. And don't worry, by the end of the video, I'm going to put this to the ultimate test. We're going to switch over my 3-way Dometic fridge over from propane to 12-volt, and we'll see just how long this battery will last. The installation I'm doing today is very easy. This is a drop-in replacement, so I simply need to put this at the same location as my existing battery. Once I've shown you how easy it is to install, then we're going to start up some testing, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this battery. So you might be asking yourself, why bother upgrade, Matt? Well, I've been doing more and more boondocking, and that means that I want to have more and more capacity to power my 12-volt loads. Honestly, even when I'm boondocking, I don't really like to be roughing it. I still like to be able to use everything that I would typically use at a campground, but I like the fact that I save on campground fees and I can camp at some pretty unique locations. So I've had lots of opportunities to try off-grid power solutions over the years, and I was specifically excited about trying this battery for a few reasons. Number one, the footprint for the amount of power output is pretty small. And that's really good, especially for someone like me who has a pretty small RV. I was also excited about this because I've done a lot of upgrades to my RV over the years, and some of those upgrades can be quite intense, quite time-consuming. This one is quick and easy. It's just a drop-in replacement. The other thing is, with this added power capacity, I should actually be able to spend a lot more time boondocking with a little bit less reliance on solar panels to recharge my batteries. And I'm also looking to reduce my reliance on propane. And you might be asking, why not just use the propane? Well, I get to some pretty remote locations where it can be hard to find a propane refilling station. And also, one of my main motivations is always to reduce the weight that I'm carrying with me. So, if it means I don't need to carry as much propane, or maybe no propane at all, that's a huge advantage for me. By the way, I just want to take a minute to say, if you're enjoying this content, and you like these types of power tests and boondocking tests, please subscribe to the channel. Got a lot more of these videos coming up, and there's also a lot more in the library. Subscribing really does help me out. So as I mentioned earlier, the installation of this battery is very straightforward. I'm simply dropping it in place at the same spot as my previous battery was, and all I have to do is connect my 2 battery terminals. So I'm sure, as you can tell, the installation for this is super simple. One note though, I want you to make sure that the converter that's installed in your trailer currently is rated for lithium batteries. So a couple other things to note about this battery. Number one, it does come in a flame retardant case. And I know there's more and more concerns about lithium batteries these days catching on fire. So this is great. It's already inside a flame retardant case, which makes it that much safer. There's also a display on top here that will tell you what the charge of the battery is, and it'll also give you alarms like high temp and low temp, and the BMS fault as well. All right, so it's time for some testing. I have my Victron app in front of me, and I'll put on screen here what I'm seeing on my app. So the first thing that I've started by doing is just simply I've turned on all of the lights in my RV. These are all LED lights, but I do have quite a few of them around me. So we can see right now that the power draw is 54 watts, and it's predicting our time remaining is 5 days and 3 hours. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do here is turn on my max air vent fan, which is right above me. And I use this quite a bit for ventilation. Even on cooler days, I just like to have airflow through the RV. So I'll turn that on, and we'll start it at a low speed. Let me just show you what we have on screen here on the Victron app. So far my power output hasn't changed much. We're still at 55 watts, but let's just turn up the fan here, and you can see that load rising. We're at 62, 61 watts now. So our time remaining has actually dropped down now to 3 days and 17 hours. Let's turn this up to max speed. And that makes a real difference. Hopefully you can still hear me. We are now drawing 94 watts with 3 days remaining. So I'm turning that down to a more reasonable speed. I'm going to put it at about medium speed. That's kind of what I would commonly be doing. If we take a quick look at the math here, this battery has 314 amp hours of power, which is roughly equivalent to 4,000 watt hours. Now, if you were to compare that to a standard lead acid battery, which are typically somewhere around the 100 amp hour range, this is the equivalent to probably about 6 times what you'd get from a lead acid battery. And you might be thinking that math doesn't quite make sense. Well, the reason that I say that is because after you get to about 50% discharge on a lead acid battery, you're not going to getting the same power output. Whereas the decline on a lithium battery stays consistent, so you can keep using it right till you get down to 0%. Okay, before we add any more loads, I do want to get to a more reasonable spot with my lights, because the reality is I would never have all of my lights turned on at the same time. So let me turn a few of those off that I use less frequently. There we go, that's more representative of a real world situation in the evening. Next thing I want to do is plug in some devices to charge. So let's get my phone plugged in here as well. And I'm also going to pop my watch on the charger. All right, phone's plugged in, watch is on the charger, max air vent fan is on at about medium. We have about 4 or 5 lights on in the RV, and we're drawing about 42 watts at the moment, so it's saying 5 days remaining. So I think it's time to add another load to the mix. So I do have this 12 volt fan that we often use when we're boondocking. So I'm going to plug this in as well. This is something that I do really commonly use. So not too bad. Still got 3 days left. I certainly could not have done this on a lead acid battery. Of course, I think I could probably keep adding small 12 volt loads all day long. And I mean, we're seeing it's not making a huge difference in the time remaining, but most 12 volt loads are not really heavy consumers. What is a heavy consumer is my fridge. So I think really the main thing that we need to do now is fire up the fridge and see how that changes things. Before I try the fridge with all the other loads on, I just want to try the fridge independently so we know what that number is. So I'm going to go around, turn off all the fans, all the lights, take everything off the chargers, and then we'll just try the fridge to start with. Okay, you know what? I will at least keep a couple lights on for filming purposes. We're switched over to DC. We are currently at the lowest setting for the fridge. It goes all the way up to 5 to get to the coldest. We'll start right there and see what we're drawing. As expected, the power draw has gone up substantially. We're drawing 241 watts. That's fairly standard for my specific Dometic fridge. It's telling us based on this, we could keep going for 1 day. So about 24 hours. Honestly, I'm already very impressed by this. With a standard lead acid battery, you'd be like 2 or 3 hours. And with a smaller lithium battery bank, again, you might only be half a day. And because we want to be looking at the real world scenario, I'll leave a few lights on. I'm going to leave 3 lights on because that would be kind of the typical amount I would use during the evening. I will turn the max air vent fan on again as well, because that has a bit of a draw. And I'll turn it down to a medium low speed. So we can see on screen here how it's changing, drawing 238 watts at the moment. The time remaining, I guess, is starting to calculate a little bit more. Now it's assuming 19 hours. So I'm guessing probably not a full day on this, but keep in mind the duty cycle of the fridge. This is not going to be drawing 237 watts non-stop 24 hours a day. It will cycle on and off as it needs to cool down. So based on that, it's probably not factored into this time remaining calculation. However, because we are trying to cool this fridge down from a very hot temperature and from it not being on, I suspect it's probably going to be drawing quite a bit of power for a while. So to give you a better idea of what you might expect from battery life in various scenarios that are fairly common out there, I've put together this chart. So let me walk you through the 3 scenarios. So the first scenario is a scenario where you have mild to warm weather. You're in a situation where you probably have your max air vent fan running pretty much all day on high speed. You might have it running at night on medium speed as well to keep that ventilation throughout the trailer and keep things cool. You're probably going to be using your lights for at least a few hours during the evening. You'll probably also do things like charge your phone and maybe some other devices throughout the day. I've assumed about 6 hours of charging at this point. Of course, you'll use your water pump as well. I've assumed here about 30 minutes a day. And based on that, you might be looking at something like 3 days of runtime for your battery. Now again, that's assuming that you're not charging with any solar throughout that time. Another scenario that we're going to look at here is a scenario where maybe you're camping in the fall or the weather is a little bit cooler. In this case, you're not using your fans as much, but you are using a furnace. A lot of the other loads do stay the same, but you will notice that your runtime likely just about doubles because of that reduction in loads from your various fans. The most extreme scenario that I've included here is one where you are running your Dometic fridge on 12 volt DC. You weren't in the other scenarios. It's also pretty hot out. So not only are you using your max air vent fan, you've probably got some auxiliary loads as well. Maybe you've got a Starlink plugged in. Maybe you're doing a little bit more device charging. Maybe you're working remotely on the road. So you've got your laptop plugged in all day. So in that scenario, you can actually see that your runtime decreases quite substantially and could be something like a day, maybe even a little less than that. But again, that's assuming that you're not charging at all. And if we're thinking about a scenario where it's a very hot day, the sun is probably out, you're probably going to have your solar panels out, which will offset this a little bit. Okay, so curiosity got the best of me, and I wanted to see what would happen if I did turn on all of my loads. So I've turned on my max air vent fan up to high speed. I've turned on every single light. I've turned on that other auxiliary fan. I've plugged back in my phone to the charger. I have my watch on the charger. So you can now see we're drawing about 300 watts, which means we could go for about 15 hours. Now, this is not a realistic scenario. No one's going to be running all of these loads at the same time, but it does give you a pretty good idea of what you could run. If you'd like to get yourself one of these Eco-Worthy ENERGYTREK batteries, I've left a link down below in the description. And as always, if you do have any questions at all about this installation or anything else RV related, please leave a comment below and I'm happy to get back to you. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It really does help us out. And don't forget to come back tomorrow to see where we go next.